What is it that will help you do your job fast? And Tristan, you have a comment?
So another weird commitment I have is that it's criminal that I don't put out content. I know it's criminal that I don't put out content, but you actually have to realize most of this cool special power is reflexive. I actually need to hear stuff for it to come out. I can't actually self-generate ideas and have that same thing. It's very cooperative. That's no excuse, but it is a real obstacle. I'm 38. I've been doing this since I was 15, and bad time to not know how to spell on the internet be a real thing, to say the least. Either way, sorry. The video I plan on making first, and you just keep verifying it, but I just want to tell you what it is right now. I believe it works without an iPhone. Here's what I've been doing. I now just open up my iPhone, put it to the voice AI assistant. You could do it in text, but it just works better this way. What you just said, I realized, like, man, I've got a lot of stuff on meditation, but I'm not putting it all together because it's going to take me 70 hours plus for me to find it, for me to think about it, for all of it. I opened up my phone on my drive to Walmart, 20 minutes. And I just started this. Hey, right now we're about to gather all the information that I think I know about this. My goal is probably to make a course. However, it might be this. I just want you to kind of keep track and notate in the background or on memory. And I systematically just started talking. And when my ADD was kicking in, like, okay, we can't jump from phase 2 to phase 3 right now. I was just like, listen, we're done on this area. I'm going to start talking about a new thing. Literally, hey, okay, done here. Now jump onto this. And then after about 20 minutes, I pause. Hey, what do I think about this? Hey, what do I think about that? Right now, I'm building my foundations meditation course through this 20-minute bot. And all I did was I was like, you know what? And I just keep it here and I hit tap. So rather than stopping and have to think how to type or gather my idea or where am I, all the what and how has disappeared. I just make sure I have that thread open. So that way it's just got a long-term memory. And I decide, do I need a bot for this or will the thread suffice? I haven't needed a bot yet, and I assure you, I have overloaded this thing with memory. I'm doing it for a cold call segment. So yeah, try over the weekend a random small project and like, ooh, I wonder how hard it would be to make a course or make content on this. And just, hey, I want you to hold all this information and don't interrupt me. It'll give you a lot of advice. I'm constantly saying, please don't be cheerful. I don't need your support. I don't need to know what's good. I just need you to capture this information and be quiet, and I'll let you know what's next. Because I do find it does. I don't want its ideas. So getting it to be, so it can just capture and I can tell it what I want to do with it. Or like, no, I didn't mean that. Actually, like, here's an example, practice versus exercise. All these meditations are both, but I want to know when I'm actually talking about it. Whenever we're talking about it, refer to it as a practice. Whenever we are actually telling people how to do it or integrating or any how level, refer to it as an exercise. Now I know when I'm saying, let's build a course, the copy is going to say that and that. So really play with this idea of just dumping a warehouse is right. And then after you've done that, and just qualify it however you want, and then ask it if it remembers. It's never not. Ina, it's blown my mind. And now think, you can share that thread with Santiago. Santiago can say, I'm building a course in GHL. Please start giving me the information from step 1. And it's probably going to be so close that when you review it, you're going to have to look hard for what you're actually like, because if you don't touch it, it doesn't feel like it's yours. So we'll find a new. You know what? I think that should go there because I feel like it should be there is like, there's good justifiable reasons, but we boil it down to we're human people. So sorry, I got a little ranty on that, but I plan on doing a half-an-hour presentation because I think this is game-changing for people who have a lot of ideas but aren't sure how to get them. And even then, there's so many hows to the next. I think I found a cheat code, and I'm so excited to share it with people. So
this is very exciting. I never even thought about that, but that's a great idea. Because the first thing I want to start with is like, what are all the documents or the items, like an item list, like just 1 page, half a page, that you need to get started on the process of applying for a loan. And so that's something I could easily do in ChatGPT for, so I guess I should make a profile for my course.
So if I was being lazy and to practice, like, what's the minimum viable product? This should work with the least amount of setup for it to be really good. I would open up a new thread and say, hey, you know what? I know I'm going to make something that's probably 1 through 10 in order, but I'm just going to start telling you everything that I think and where I think it belongs. And just push out your opinions and tell it like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. But I'm going to give it to you how I think it's best. And later on, let's have a conversation where you think I'm wrong and how come you put it there. So I juxtaposition what I'm doing, but then I let it know I want it to be me. And I just feel like when this gets put to the content level, how could it sound like AI? How could it possibly sound like AI when you're feeding a thread with your personal opinion about your expertise, and then using GPT 4.0 to then go out online? Give me contradiction arguments on why my stuff doesn't work. Is a great question to ask them.
Oh yeah, okay, that's a great question. I'm glad we're recording.
Yeah, you can tell it's something I've been pretty manic about. It's one of the big reasons I want to make this community, because I'm like, oh, here will be the 30-minute intro. I'll have an hour class teaching people how to do it, and I will invite them because this is the stuff that you're going to learn on Theory Thursdays and Tech Tuesdays. Here's a great idea, and here's how you can actually build it. Yeah, I want to facilitate these for people because I think they're helpful.
That's awesome, because there's so many possibilities. Because ultimately my goal is really to help nonprofits any way that I possibly can. But so if I can learn how to use these tools in my everyday business application, then it makes it that much easier to see the possibility for something like that. So Santiago, we should think about signing up for his classes. Of courses.
I would appreciate it, but as you know, Ina, I will give you everything for free. I'm so grateful to our friendship. It's worth its weight in gold.
Well, but thank you, but we'll see. So, but all of this really leads to that. Oh, and Anik, we'll have you talk in a second. Is that it's a mindset. Everything that all of us do, it's helping these business owners have a mindset that yes, I can, with Midori's book, yes, with Anik's journal, yes, and with what Tristan's talking about, and then when Richard is talking about just being aware. And George, welcome. We're here in the group, so we're going to have Anik talk in a minute. We sort of have a free-form discussion. George and I met in a one-to-one last week. Very interesting individual. And why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, we talked about a bunch of things on our last call, you and I, and and I'm still working on some major projects and some minor ones. This is a very busy time for me with people who are doing year-end tax planning, saving taxes. I got about 1 week left to get some of these cases done. I provide a virtual family office service to business owners, mostly through accounting firms. So,
yeah, so he's great. Yeah. So Anik, you had a comment?
Yes, I was taking notes so that I wouldn't forget what I had to say.
Sorry.
No worries. It's not your fault that my brain works that way, right? I really appreciate that you were like, you'll be a minute. So that way I
can get it together.
I could prepare. Yeah. So call back to the ChatGPT thing. Apparently they recently added an option to create projects. And that's a way to isolate the data that your ChatGPT is using to say, just use this. This is for this project. Anyway, I haven't played much with it yet. Looks like Tristan's going to have something to say about that. Awesome. The other thing I have to say is the stuff you guys just said to each other. Tristan saying I would do it for free, blah, blah, blah. Well, what if you guys figure out, like Tristan's always got stuff he wants to talk about, his special interests. He deep dives for 3 or 4 months. And then that's what we have that in common. It's just my deep dives are more like a year or 2. And so what if you did something like a quarterly event for Tristan in exchange for his support? You guys have plenty to trade. You don't have to be doing each other favors. You have so much. Yeah, you have so much so many ways you can help each other. If you take a minute to stop and think about it, you'll think about 10 more that wouldn't even come to my mind. So I just want to put that out there.
So he and I need to put that in Chat GPT. And see what we right?
So yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Okay,
that was it.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I was getting a text message. So yeah, active projects are really cool. Not only can you put documents in there specifically, a couple of things. Unfortunately, right now, again, I can only speak for Apple because I'm not double testing. I should. I'm being lazy. Because I just asked Dustin, he's on. Either way, when you put it into an active project, it literally disappears from the mobile app, even if you search it. It's like, this would be great. I have an active projects folder, so when I'm driving, I can take less clicks. I didn't almost get into an accident finding out I couldn't find it. But today, probably not tomorrow, it actually puts them in a black hole from the mobile device, which was hilarious. So I have an active projects folder, but it's half empty for things like where I know I'm just going to pick it up and want to dump in it. Quick answers. But it is very cool. Projects are getting very powerful. I would look into a team account. Yes, it's $30 plus account, but the data will no longer be part of the bigger system. And since you deal with financials, that is a huge thing that you can just state factually. But the weird integrations for sharing a live thread back and forth and them staying live is been really helpful, just to keep, so you're not rebuilding a thread. And even a bot kicks out an output that, there's this weird drop off. It's like you're playing telephone, even though you've got a genius, that genius still has to somehow give it a post-it of everything it kind of knew in perfect context. So that's the reason Dustin and I did hidden numbers, and it's been giving us their ability to communicate and know each other is just, that's where the paywall is. But it's been worth it for us so far.
Yeah. I mean, it really does sound like another way to, achieve those productivity gains and getting more time back in your life to manifest and make things happen, but also have more time for family and, whatever it is you want to do besides.
Imagine making a bot with all your ideas on a thing and then giving it to a web developer, and they can talk to that with everything. And you can really just say, look, even if it's wrong, I know it's going to be 80% close. Let them get there. And then there's so little correcting and there's so little talking, and they're empowered because they can feel confident that there's not going to be a mistake. I think it's going to be a skeleton key to entrepreneurs who are willing to just change a little bit of habits. You got to kind of change, that's the hardest part. I still build stuff in spreadsheets first. I know how to do everything in CRMs. I'm opening up a Google Sheet, and that's my scratch pad till I've deleted half the columns I thought were important. Then we'll talk about a system.
For sure.